Hey everybody, this is the officially unofficial Geek channel. I am your host, Carrie Quinn, and this is our Spoilertastic weekly comic roundup. Glad to be here. Glad to see you guys. I had a little bit of a sickness, not sure for sure if it was the big, little C, big C. I know that the big C is cancer, so I'm assuming that the little C is COVID. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I'm not for sure if it was the little C or not, but I was exhibiting symptoms. My entire household, minus the cats, were exhibiting symptoms, and so um, we were very largely isolating ourselves. We're still doing that. It was very mild symptoms, very mild for me, a little bit more, less mild for the boyfriend, but we are on the mend and we are doing much better than we were. Thank you to the miracle of science, everyone. Let's have a little bit of a round of applause for the miracle of science because it could have been a lot worse. But anyways, on with the program. Here we are doing the weekly comic roundup spoiler-tastic edition. So if you have not read your comics, primarily the array of Batman comics that came out from DC this week, if you have not read them and you normally read them, then I would ask you, please pause this video and come back at a later time, preferably when you decide you don't mind spoilers and when you decide that you've finally finished reading your comics, because you know what? Life happens, guys. It's okay. You know what? But definitely come back and watch this when you are ready, because I talk about everything involving these comics, especially mostly in regards to my views involving them. So, yeah, so what do we got going on real quick before we dive into this? We have got the weekly uh, collected edition Tuesdays. That is going to be done without delay on Tuesday. We have two new segments that are going to be coming for the officially unofficial Geek channel coming up on Wednesdays. We got What's Up Wednesdays. I just made that up, just figured that out. We might workshop that a little bit, but right now it's called What's Up Wednesdays. It's basically me picking a event or something that has happened that's in the media involving pop culture, probably heavy comics, probably a lot of different kinds of geek culture, and talking about it, whether it be a minute or 10, and then posting it here to my YouTube channel for officially unofficial geek. That is What's Up Wednesday. And another new segment that we're going to be adding, it's called Flashback Friday, where we are going to take a dive into what's old. What's old? Something from the past, preferably probably comics, probably mostly comics, because we are a comic heavy channel, and we are going to review it, talk about it. So the first part of this whole Flashback Friday is going to involve first appearances of beloved and or not so beloved characters in comic books. So this Friday, keep a lookout for the first appearance of Peacemaker. That's right, guys. Not the first appearance in DC Comics. Oh, no, no. We'll explain that on Friday. But these first appearance in comics. I'm going all the way back, baby. All the way back. And I'll be telling you more about that on Friday. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into the weekly Spoilertastic comic reviews. As always, we go from my least favorite to my most favorite. And this week we're going to start out with Batgirls. Okay, here's the thing, guys. I do like Batgirls. I do. I do like Batgirls. The thing is about it, the art, first off, let's talk about something really great about it. I love this art by Corona and Stern. Corona does the art. Stern is the colorist, and oh my god, that I love, 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 love this. Love this art style. Very indie, very awesome. Loving it so much. Now, let's talk about where it's missing just a little bit for me. And I'm a huge DC fan. I'm a huge Batman fan. So let's preface this by saying that even my problems are not really that big of a deal this week, because I do generally, like I said, have been liking Batgirls so far, even though it is only issue number 2. We had the previews. We have just the general idea of the Batgirls, and I love the characters. So let's preface this by saying, normally, I don't really have many complaints about this. But here we go with the complaint. This has been really great. It's been fun. It's been a fun read, except for the fact that it seems a little bit scatterbrained. Now, one of the things that we ran into with Fear State, the thing that kind of led up to this, was the fact that there were certain things that we knew that we were going to be getting based on solicitations, based on articles that were written about it, interviews, that kind of thing, that I want to make sure that these people that are handling this, writers, editors, everything like that, and what I'm hoping, I should say, what I'm hoping is they do not lose sight of what we're ready to see here. And what we're ready to see here is, one, a really great Batgirls centric comic, because you know what? It's needed. And number 2, this book is supposed to be dealing with the whole mystery surrounding the Seer, who first made their appearance during Fear State event. So when you're sitting there and you're reading Batgirls, and Cass and Stephanie seem a little bit like, one, the scatterbrained, and 2, they're deterring from the actual goal of finding out who the Seer is, and now all of a sudden they're trying to figure out who this serial killer is, and or if it has anything to do with their grumpy neighbor, which, you know what, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it is too easy that the serial killer is their neighbor, and it is probably someone else entirely, and he's just a random grumpy old guy. So the whole thing, we get a little bit of the Seer, and basically what we get of the Seer is Barbara mentioning the Seer and mentioning that they have to find them. We also get the Seer as in using a hologram of the now dead Simon Saint to control these 3 saints. The saints that actually end up attacking the Batgirls in the beginning of the issue, carrying over from the end of issue 1. So when you have the promised product, which is they're going to find out who the Seer is, and they're not really getting all that much into it, and you have the potential for the Batgirls to veer off into another territory, that's kind of a bit scatterbrained. And I hope we get more of the Seer as we go on. So not horribly bad. I really do like it. It is entertaining, but focus, people. Which brings us to our next comic on the hit parade. Let me tell you guys, it's another one I really like, and I have really liked. And I hate to do this to you guys, but Robin and Batman number 3 of 3. It's important for me to mention 3 of 3. Why is it important for me to mention 3 of 3? Well, this is a series that probably should have had more than 3 issues. That's my main complaint about it. It's so good, we didn't have enough of it. Each issue is beautiful, fun reads, and just like this one. Okay? However, there was a little bit of a detour from what I thought was going to be the main focus of the story, which would have been the connection between Robin and Killer Croc. And so you have a couple different themes going on here in this whole series, this 3-issue series. You have man versus himself, which would be Robin trying to get himself into this, Dick Grayson as Robin, becoming Robin, but also still being Dick Grayson, and also trying to be Dick Grayson while also being Robin. I hope that made sense. You have man versus himself. You have man versus man, which is Robin, Batman, in typical manners, going up against Killer Croc. So you have 2 issues, 1 and 3, dealing with those 2 things simultaneously. Okay? Those 2 themes, man versus himself, man versus man. There you go. Got it. Issue 1, issue 3. Now, you have these 2 issues, right? So you have issue 1 and issue 3 where it is solid man versus himself. Don't really need to explain that. That, by the way, does happen in the 2nd issue as well. But we have this man versus man thing where Batman and Robin versus Killer Croc. And you investigate the connection Killer Croc has to Robin. And which basically is Killer Croc used to be a sideshow exhibit in the circus that Dick Grayson was a part of with his family. So he's harboring some resentment. Killer Croc is harboring some resentment to people that were involved in some of the more illustrious positions in the circus while he was treated very badly. And there's something that the comic almost says about that. Almost says about it, but then favors on the end of just kicking butt. It's a comic. Comics, are written, in this circumstance, not all circumstances, obviously, but this comic in particular is written about superheroes. And what do superheroes do? They kick butt. So that's where we are. They almost say something about that whole classism and everything like that, but then kind of go there, but then also just err on the side of kicking butt. Hey, I still enjoyed it, still liked it. My main issue is that we got 3 issues, 2 very solid on those 2 themes, and 1 that took a detour, basically. And you know what? I'm completely fine with it taking a detour because we still had that whole, man versus himself kind of thing, man versus, himself and his better judgments, and just trying to be a child when it comes to Dick Grayson, Robin, when he meets the other future members of the Teen Titans. So, why is this a problem? Well, because there wasn't enough of it. There wasn't enough of either story. I feel like maybe the beauty of Guinan's art, that wonderful, like, and you can definitely see it on the cover here, that wonderful beauty of that watercolor art, that's absolutely fantastic. Plus, you have a top tier writer like Jeff Lemire. Give him 6 issues to explore this idea, both of them, thoroughly. That's my viewpoint. DC, if you happen to see this, if I happen to slide under your radar here, or you know what I mean, if I happen to just, ping on your radar, and we needed 3 more issues here. We needed 3 more issues here, and we would have bought, the fans of this book probably would have bought 3 more issues and still wanted more afterwards. With the kind of writing and art that you had going on here, that's what's wrong with it. There needed to be more. Whew. Yeah. Yeah. I needed more. I needed more of that one. And I hope you guys feel the same way. And we're going to move on to the next issue that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Detective Comics 1048. I love this. This is the A cover, and this is awesome. And you find out, not to get ahead of myself, but you find out that this is not actually Harley Quinn. It's somebody that thinks she's Harley Quinn. Yeah. I'm really loving this hyper realistic cover art that we're getting on the cover A's, I believe, for this whole series. You see a little bit more in some of the advertisements that are in the books this round, and were in the books last week as well. But this hyper realistic art is pretty awesome in my eyes, at least. So here we're jumping back in to show that Batwoman. We're jumping back into the beginning of the story again, because the last issue, we had a little bit of a time jump to the future from the past, and now we're back in the past. And we're gonna show, it seems like like I was talking about last week, it's doing this thing where it's like we're going to show everything right at the beginning, and then we're going to show the end, and we're just going to be like, okay guys, now we're going to show you how we get there. And yeah, that's pretty much what they did. So we, like I said, we jumping back in time, and we show Batwoman. Cat is going undercover to try to figure out what Dr. Ware is all about. And she's pretending to be a doctor to get, she's interviewing for a job there at the Arkham Tower. She gets a tour of the facilities and is shocked to see hardened, violent criminals acting like normal people. Yeah. Okay. So, like, for real, Victor Freeze is going to get an iced coffee, for Christ's sakes. Okay. I do, however, wonder how Victor takes his coffee. Is there cream, sugar, maybe sweet and low? Ooh. Does he get the big dollop of whipped cream or the little dollop of whipped cream? And oh, does he do flavors? I need to know. I need to know. Does Victor Freeze like the pumpkin spice? Does he do the PSL? Probably a cold one, like an iced PSL, you know? Does he do that? Or does he stick with the Christmas type flavors, like the winter type flavors, like peppermint mocha, or like, ooh, Dunkin' Donuts had that creme brulee one. Yes. Okay, but I need to know. Somebody tell me, what do you think in the comments? What kind of coffee flavors do you think Victor Freeze prefers, and why? Okay? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me in the comments. If you watch this, tell me what kind of coffee, and how does Victor Freeze take his coffee? That's important as well. Okay? Anyway, back to the issue. Okay, so we get a taste basically of Dr. Ware's origins, as well as we do a little bit of a flashbacks here in Dr. Ware's youth, where we find out his mother is a killer that had psychological issues, and it's kind of strange because you find him in this area where he's an adult, where he wants to help all these people, but he doesn't seem so sympathetic to people like this when he's younger. And when his mother gets taken, he's aware of what's going on. And he's a kid who sneaks off with her ATM card, which did make me wonder how long we had ATMs. So if you're wondering, If you're wondering, my boyfriend looked it up. Google's a wonderful thing. And he said that they were like around since like about like some time during the 1960s, which I did not know. And now I know. And it seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Seems like a really long time ago to have an ATM. Whatever. Um, so we have this whole situation where Batwoman is interviewing for this job. She leaves. She basically feels like she's gotten the job, which is going to put her inside the building. She comes back to the underground Batcave in the sewers because they've got one of those back up and running from when Mr. Worth blew up a bunch of them. I love the editor's note that's in the issue about how like that guy blew up a bunch of stuff. Yeah, because it felt like every issue he's blowing like one or two things up for a while. So there's a lot of blowing up, a lot of explosions. But so Batwoman, the one thing I'm questioning in my mind is Batwoman comes back. She's giving Nightwing and Barbara the lowdown on what's going on, and Nightwing was like, "Well, did you see her?" Well, who does Batwing? Not Batwing. We're not talking about Luke Fox here. What does Nightwing want to know about? Who does Nightwing want to know about? Guys, does anybody know? Does anybody have a thought? Who does Batwing, I did it again. Who does Nightwing want to know about when he asks, "Did you see her?" And Batwoman is like, "No, I know she's there." So I wonder who they're talking about. That's something I want to know. Moving on, we're going to talk about this right here. We're going to talk about Future State Gotham number 9. I really wish I was better at the editing because I would be playing sad music right now. Sad music. Sad. Sad. Why would I be playing sad music right now? Because Grifter, man. Grifter. Grifter. I reach to the sky and I call out your name. Grifter. That's right, guys. Quick, somebody. My boyfriend insists that this is not canon, okay? And I want to believe him. I want to believe him, and I'm going, you know what? Screw it. Headcanon. Headcanon. Grifter is not dead. He is sleeping without his head because somebody bit it off. Grifter's sleeping. Okay. Yeah. Yep, it's sad to say this, but in the world of Future State Gotham, Grifter is deceased. Not just deceased, he had his head bit right off by the next Joker. I was really hoping that the last Future State Gotham issue was just a ruse at the end, and it was like, oh, really? He's gonna bite off the other person's head, the operator's head. Nope. Nope. The operator was left alive. Lucky. Anywho, can tell I am not okay with this, but we'll move on. We'll move on. So his head was bitten off by the next Joker. That happened, and we're gonna move on. So, and my primary comic book boyfriend, Jason Todd, he's still alive. And he's on the case with Hunter Panic. Hunter Panic, you remember, is the, when, Hunter Panic, if you remember, was, if you've been reading Future State Gotham, you remember that she is the one that took in Punchline when Punchline escaped from Blackgate Penitentiary earlier on in the series. So, Hunter Panic has now come along and basically has gone to Jason Todd and been like, I want you to mentor me. Okay, so basically, this is what this amounts to, guys. Do you remember when we were kids and all the future cop kids, right, were explorers, which meant that they rode around with cops and had their little mini uniforms? Yeah, that's what this reminded me of. Hunter Panic basically asking Jason Todd to be a mentor and just kind of following him around everywhere. And so, anyways, explorers, uniforms. So Jason Todd is now questioning Punchline because Punchline had made the comment that she knew about the next Joker. So we have Jason Todd questioning her about what she knows about Operator, who, like I said, is still alive. She tells them everything they need to know about the next Joker, everything like that, and Hush, let's catch back up. Hush is basically using the next Joker and other things to take out his competition. He got everyone together with the ruse that he was actually going to try and protect everyone, but no, actually Hush is wanting to be the numero uno crime boss in Gotham, so he is using the ruse to get rid of everyone else. They figured that out, and Jason Todd, Hunter Panic go to try to help someone else, and Jace Fox, next Batman, is also trying to help with that on the DL. Because, as you know, or may not know, Jace Fox and Jason Todd are now working together on the DL because technically Jason Todd is still Peacekeeper Red. Anyways, we have a side story here, a side plot here that starts happening in Future State Gotham that involves Nightwing. Nightwing is found scaring off a couple dudes that are trying to use these mind enhancement drugs to pass their exams, I guess, for school. Yeah. And so Nightwing stops them and steals their drugs. Now, what's going on with that? Well, out of the shadows comes one, Talia al Ghul, who calls him out for using him. But it's not because she's, wanting to call him out, but she mostly wants to get his help to find Damien. So Nightwing has been microdosing these drugs to help him get the upper hand in what he's been doing with, the Bat family. So I swear to God, if we get a Nightwing is addicted to this drug story, which, oh, by the way, is called, I think they call it Blaine. Blaine? Weird. Because he has to find his brother Damien. That is going to annoy me, by the way. By the way. And why does Talia al Ghul need Nightwing's help to do this? Couldn't she just take the drugs and find him? I don't know. Weird. Anywho, let's go ahead and move along. I'm really hoping we don't do this whole, Nightwing is a drug addict and everything like that. Not that there's not anything wrong with that. It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, well, why does Nightwing have to take the drugs to find Damien when you yourself could also take the drugs, Talia? What are you really playing at? What is your real angle, Talia al Ghul? I'm sure we'll find out because it's Talia al Ghul. Moving on, we will talk about Batman Urban Legends number 11. Look at this cute cover. I'm saying cute cover in reference to Ace, not necessarily in reference to Batman, who is drawn in his little outfit that looks like a sleepy onesie. It looks like a onesie, like he's about ready to go to bed. Are you going Betty bye, Batman? Make sure to bring your little H doggy with you. Okay, so for the first time in a while, there are no real. If you're not familiar with Batman Urban Legends, it's a anthology series where there's different stories, most likely related in some way to the Batman Gotham universe. Hence why it's called Batman Urban Legends. We've had some good stuff here, and we've had some not so great stuff here. And you know what? We got 4 new stories here. No laggers. Actually, all some good stuff here. And they all have multiple parts, which is pretty darn cool. Got some pretty good, interesting quality here. There is a Batman Zatanna story that intrigued me by the unknown. Like, seriously, and when I say by the unknown, is because it kept me going, even though I have no flipping clue what they were doing together. But I knew it had to do with magic and something that they have to do every 3 years. Other than that, it looks weird, and I'm here for it, man. You know what? You son of a bitch, I'm in. Because it's Zatanna and it's Batman. Batman doing magic stuff. Crazy. Anywho, we've got that. There's a White Witch by the same let's see here. The White Witch, that is actually written by Ram V, and it is the same White Witch that has connections to the Catwoman story and Fear State. And as you know, we find out in this issue what was meant by the moment where Ghostmaker recognized the White Witch. You find out that both Ghostmaker and Batman have connections to the White Witch, and it starts to get explained here as to how that is and why that is. Ram V, of course, rocks as well. We have an Ace Bat Hound story. I was not all right after reading that one. Yeah, but it was really good. Side note, did it occur to anyone, because I kind of mentioned this a few minutes ago, did it occur to anyone else, let me know in the comments if you have an opinion, that Bruce, the way he's drawn in the Ace Batman story, the Batman story with Ace the Bat Hound, that he looks like his outfit, his costume, uniform, whatever you want to call it, looks like he's got like a Batman onesie and he's about ready to go Betty bye. Yeah, okay, so I need somebody to tell me if they agree with me or if they think I'm full of crap in the comments, please. Thank you. So the surprise story in here was the eternity which is a young kid eternity is a young coroner who died and came back and now can talk to murder victims. So that's cool. Kid Eternity actually made his debut with a company called Quality Comics, and this was way back in the 1940s. Quality Comics, and even though Quality Comics said, let's see here, Quality Comics sold their properties to DC Comics in 1956. DC didn't get around to using Kid Eternity as one of their properties until the 80s. And this was with World's Finest, and where it is revealed that Captain Marvel Jr. Is Kid Eternity's brother. I love the whodunit mystery here. I completely here for all those things. And it's got a sci-fi twist. I love it. And that one might end up being the standout for me. I like I said, no laggers here, but the Kid Eternity one, you know, it's really awesome. And it's kind of interesting to me that, you know, Quality Comics, when they went under and they sold their properties to DC in 1956, and this being one of them, DC didn't even get around to using Kid Eternity until the 80s. Something similar happened to, I'm going to be talking about it in Flashback Fridays with Peacemaker. Peacemaker was actually owned by another company, sold to DC, and then not used until the 80s. But like I said, we'll get more into that on Friday. So here we are. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. What is the officially unofficial Geek Channel's #1 comic of the week? And I'm going to tell you, it is the comic that brought me all the feels. I was wrong about something in it, but it brought me all the feels, and I don't care that I was wrong about it. I am Batman #5. Oh my god. You know what? You guys know me. If you've been watching my channel, if you haven't, subscribe because you'll find out. I love the feels. If something gives me the feels, it's probably going to end up in the top spot or near the top spot of my weekly comic roundup here. But Batman, I am Batman #5 definitely gave me the feels. Guys, we've been leading up to this point for some time, where the smoke starts to clear for the Fox family. Jace gets to practice some self-actualization. Tamara, I'm going to say Tamara, is it Tamara or Tamara, is on the road to recovery. In the last issue, she woke up from her coma. And Lucius, by the way, is also on the road to his own recovery and understanding of what's happened to him to this point. Mental health issues are a big deal with me, especially when people address them head on, because there's still a taboo issue, unfortunately, and it's because we don't allow ourselves to take care of these things like regular medical problems. You get an infection, you go to the doctor, you get put on medication. Why can't you do that if you're not feeling well up here? So any moment that anyone gets to speak out about a taboo situation for this kind of, type of format, especially when someone has experienced the kind of trauma that both Jace Fox and Lucius Fox have. Lucius Fox being most recently the trauma he experienced when he was being held captive by Punchline during the Joker War. As someone with anxiety and depression that has been diagnosed, it can be very easy to feel like your mental health is something that isn't that important to the grand scheme of things, because you feel like you should toughen up and suck it up, buttercup, and here's the thing, you don't need to. The fact of the matter is that there's a lot of healing that went on in like this issue where you have Jace realizing, you know what? I am Jace Fox. I am also Batman, and I do not need to stop what I'm doing. You have Lucius Fox get this realization in the middle of everything when he realizes that Batman that his tech is messing with, the Batman that saved his wife, was actually, by the way, saved his wife. There's a Fear State issue, I Am Batman, where basically Jace Fox saves his own mother in a hostage situation. There's a moment where the man that prior issue that Lucius Fox was was upset with his wife because she did not take the shot to kill was his own son. There's this moment of like floodgate open realization. Like 20 light bulbs went on over Lucius Fox's head in this story, and it is beautiful how it's just like that simple in the story. And he's like, crap. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I now? And you know what? I'm going to make up. I just made up for something right now. I'm going to start making up for all this shit. And he chooses. He makes the ultimate choice that he chooses what he thinks is right. And stops his, vendetta against Mass, stops all this stuff. He comes clean to his son and tells him, man, I know it's you. And don't put the face mask on anymore. Keep it on. Be you. You are Batman. You are you and you are Batman, and that's what's important. You don't need to hide. Because basically how he finds out that it's Jace is because that faceplate that he's been using breaks. And he sees his son's face. And it's just like that light bulb just went like that. That moment where he realized, man, yeah, I gotta do stuff differently. I gotta do what's right for me, for my family, and I gotta make a change. And it's just one of the most beautiful moments, man. Like, I'm not gonna get into it here. I'm not gonna do it. Because you know what? It's like, even if it's one step to making that change, and you just keep on taking one step and then another step, and then your right foot moves in front of your left foot, and then your left foot moves in front of your right foot, and you just keep doing it. And that's what we're seeing here. And it was written, that first step and maybe that second step was written in a way that it was just easy. Yeah. And that's why I Am Batman number 5 is my issue, my pick of the week. Because you are important. Everyone is important. You are important. I am important. Yeah. Woo! Okay, guys. So that's all I've got for you for this week. There you go. So be you. Keep being you, because you are important. Please keep on keeping on. Keep reading. Keep on doing everything that you need to do to get by in this world. And if you're new to the channel, please know I do get I do love the comics, and I do love the emotional comics, and we're going to be producing more content. We've got, like I said, we've got the new collected volume, the collected edition Tuesday. We've got the new What's Up Wednesday coming. We've got Flashback Friday coming this week with Peacemaker. Guys, I watched the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker. Fantastic. Never skipping that intro. Never. Ever. Ever. Anyways, so we got a lot of stuff coming up, and if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, because that's the thing. That's the deal. You subscribe to the channel, you find out about this stuff a lot sooner than just coming across it like you may have done today. If you are subscribed to the channel, thank you. Thank you for coming. Please come for the other stuff too. Like and share with your friends. Please comment down below things that I want to know from you in the comments. 1, how do you think Victor Fries takes his coffee? 2, do you think the cover of Batman Urban Legends and in the story of Ace the Bat Hound that Batman looks like he's wearing a sleepy onesie? Do you think that that's true? And 3, what do you think of the comics that I talked about today? Maybe I'm not reading something you think I would like. Please tell me in the comments and all that jazz. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be seeing you throughout the week. And obviously, like always, I'll be here on Sunday with your weekly comic roundup. Thank you so much for being here. I am the officially unofficial geek, Carrie Quinn, and I'll be seeing ya. Bye!